As you browse your teacher edition, you'll notice a short narrative that comes before the lessons in each topic. It's called the topic overview, and it's more specific than the module overview narrative we looked at earlier. It goes lesson by lesson and gives a little more insight into the instructional sequence so that it's clear how the lessons in the topic fit together. What you're looking at now is the topic overview for Grade 10, Module 1, Topic A. Notice the topic title. These are the standards covered by this topic. And this is a narrative description of the action happening in these lessons. This box has the bolded focus standard written out, and it gives the number of instructional days the topic should take. It also provides the lesson titles. Next to each lesson title, you'll notice a letter. The letter tells you what type of lesson it is, but the letter is just an initial. At the bottom of the page, there's a key to tell you what it stands for. On screen, the letters and key are tough to see using this page, so let me show them to you a different way. There are 4 types of lessons in a story of functions. Take a look. Lesson types are driven by content. The letter P, E, S, or M next to the lesson title tells you which type it is. Here's what you can expect from each one. In problem set lessons, teacher and students work through a series of examples and exercises to develop or reinforce a concept. This is the most common type of lesson. In exploratory lessons, students have 20 to 30 minutes to work on at least one exploratory challenge, which is often a problem or question that encourages collaboration. The lesson ends with a whole class discussion of the problem. The idea is to draw conclusions or expand on a concept, definition, theorem, or proof. In Socratic lessons, the teacher engages students in a discussion leading to a big idea or proof. The teacher asks guiding questions to draw students into the discussion. Finally, in modeling lessons, students complete a task with a real-world application of mathematics. If you haven't already, take a moment now to look at the icons on the screen. You'll see these icons again inside the lesson documents, signaling to you what type of lesson you're looking at. Let me show you what I mean. Lessons start with a page that looks like this. Here's that icon from the last slide, telling us that the lesson we're looking at, Grade 10 Lesson 1, is a modeling lesson. Below the lesson number and title, you'll find the student outcomes. Next, you'll see lesson notes for the teacher. These include teaching tips and draw attention to anything you might need to prepare. Next, you see classwork. Classwork makes up the bulk of the lesson and consists of examples and exercises. Let's talk about the difference between an example and an exercise. Examples tend to be teacher-directed, whole class activities. The teacher and students usually work through a few examples together. They often include bullets with suggested questions or sample dialogue for you to study as you prepare to teach. Before we move on to talk about exercises, notice this bracket on the left. It's showing you that this part of the lesson presents a particularly good opportunity to engage your students in Mathematical Practice 5, which calls out that students be asked to use appropriate tools strategically. You'll come across brackets like this in different places within lessons across the curriculum. Okay, let's turn the page. Here's a sample exercise. An exercise is usually student-led. Exercises often follow the teacher-modeled examples, and students work on them independently or in pairs. So to sum it up, examples are teacher-directed, whereas exercises are meant for independent or partner practice. One more thing to point out before we leave this page. See this green box? You'll find them throughout the lessons. The items you see in green boxes show exactly what is found on student pages, except that yours also have the answers in blue. Okay, let's move on to the next lesson component. All lessons end with a closing, which is an opportunity for students to clarify misunderstandings, draw conclusions, and synthesize learning. Some lessons also have a lesson summary box, which might include important definitions, formulas, or other key information from the lesson. Exit tickets are the final piece of the lesson. Let's look up close at an example of one now. Exit tickets are very short formative assessments, just 1 or 2 questions like what you see on screen, that are meant to provide feedback to help you customize tomorrow's lesson for your students. The final lesson component is called the problem set, which can be used at the teacher's discretion, maybe as additional classwork or as homework. The snapshot on screen shows you a portion of the problem set for Grade 10, Lesson 1. Now you've seen all the components of a lesson. And here they are, listed for you. We've just spent some time zoomed in on the items you'll find within your teacher edition. So let's zoom back out toward the big picture. Remember that modules are made of topics, and topics are made of lessons. Let's take another step back to remember that a certain number of modules make up a grade level, and that each module is placed like a chapter in a book to best tell the math story so that it makes sense. Finally, from a bird's-eye perspective, keep in mind that you're sharing the next chapters in a child's larger mathematical journey. From pre-kindergarten to grade 12, through a story of units, a story of ratios, and a story of functions, you're part of a team. As you study the curriculum in preparation to teach a module or a particular lesson, please think of it as a powerful tool for conveying the part of the story that's told by your grade level. More than any other subject, the effective teaching of mathematics from pre-kindergarten to grade 12 necessitates a team effort. We hope that the structure of modules, topics, lesson types, and the components within each lesson support you to become the best math teacher you can be. Enjoy!